Well, the proxy fight between Disney and activist investor Trian Fund Management appears to be over. Trian had made the case earlier this year for replacing the media giant's board director, Michael Froman, in favor of instituting the hedge fund's Nelson Peltz on the board. Peltz had criticized Disney's weak corporate governance over the years that has eroded shareholder value, calling for several changes from the media conglomerate. However, now Mr. Peltz says he would pull back. You got a statement from him, Soz.
Got a statement from here from Trian team to Yahoo Finance. Says, quote, "The proxy fight is over. This is a win for all shareholders." And this really goes back to, I think, what we were talking about in our morning meeting here, Julie. Well, he looks like he made a pretty sizable gain here. Unclear exactly what price, but look, I mean, you had Bob Iger come here and I think surprise everyone with the amount of cost that he said he was going to take out of the business, $5.5 billion. The stock price is higher. He's also now restructuring the businesses. I don't think he would have did this without Peltz pushing him to do so. And this outline of what Iger's doing in terms of segmenting the key businesses is what Peltz really pushed for at Procter & Gamble. Procter & Gamble did that. The stock price went up, and it's continued to be a top performer here. So, look, Peltz got what he wanted, ultimately.
Yeah, you're watching shares here on the day actually moving off of some of their highs, and much of that had come on the back of the earnings call, not necessarily the report itself, as when the report dropped, it was up by about 2%. It's really what was announced on the call, what was very much signaled towards addressing the concerns that Peltz had raised, and that's when the stock moved higher, eventually was higher by about 8% in after-hours trading. But then now, even here, right now, you're seeing the shares reverse course, perhaps because that fight might be over.
Right, and now you saw that reversal, and I'm glad you spotted that, Brad, because it's worth mentioning. Maybe you see Peltz now sell his stake, right. And then obviously you're adding more shares to the market. That is putting pressure on there. But then, too, you also have to wonder, well, now that Disney announced this, does it get a little complacent without Nelson Peltz trying to get on the board?
Yeah, that was my thought as well, in addition to the concern about him potentially selling his stake. Okay, they've announced all of this stuff, which is great, but now the pressure is off, right? Are there going to be more changes that maybe investors think need to be happening? So still, I think it's not done just because he announced the restructuring and the cost cutting. This is just really the beginning. So now it becomes, I'm going to use one of those market cliches, a show me story, right? Sure. What is going to happen next for Disney?
If I can also add, it also seems like this was the exact cover fire that Bob Iger needed in his first quarter back as CEO to make some of these drastic changes too, even if they were already being talked about. And we don't know to what extent the Disney executive team was already pondering some of these massive restructuring changes, some of the job cuts as well, the focus on profitability. But we do know that in the changing of the guards from Chapek to Iger, that there was going to be some type of massive change. And for Bob Iger to be able to go on the call and make these type of announcements, I don't know if that happens without an activist campaign like a Peltz being kicked off as well.
No, that's right, Brad. Definitely on point.